Okay. Thank you very much. You guys are I think I sent an email out, you're my rock stars, literally rock stars, because where do we find this type of experience for our programs here? It's probably the top heavy program we have. It's good in our university. So you guys are very good and very kind for being in our program. Thanks for taking these assignments. So I'll do a little more about those things in a second, and I'll tell you a little more about myself, and I'll let you explain that. Some of you may not know each other, or things like that. So little devotional thought for tonight. When Esther was, if you remember back in the Bible, there was a time when she was in a position to where she could help save her family and the Jews because the king was going to kill them all, right? Basically, it came out to for such a time as this, and that's where we are. For such a time as this, and you guys all know how the importance of special education and a degree program that we need in this area, in the Olathe School District area, and in Olathe and in Johnson County. However, we know there are other schools out there doing the same thing we're doing. So our goal is to figure out that for such a time as this, how can we become the best we can be? And I'll talk about that in a second too. So God has placed us and given us the opportunity. We have a number of students that are signing up or trying to sign up and looking into us, and I've talked about 18 people so far, which is a good thing. So if we can get, I think Dr. Dameron, she's not here tonight by the way, she said if we can get 5, we're moving on. We got to do it.
Wow.
Dr. Bowman, we have to do that. And by the way, we have to start in August. If we don't, we have to go back to the drawing board with KSDE. So that's why we are stringing you guys along. Keep coming with us, right? But God has given us an opportunity. And I know we are going to do a great work with Him for such a time as this. So any thoughts before you get any prayer requests? I know sometimes you may get into a situation like you just sit down, you're running hard. Are things going on? Are you okay? Family members sick? Any things going on? You have any prayer requests that I could pray for you for? You know, you're just like my students. They're like, no. Sometimes I call them and pray, and they look at me like, I can't believe you just did that. So I'll pray for us, and we'll get started in our meeting. Father, thank you so much for this time, this opportunity to be here today, and I thank you for these teachers, these professors that are going to help us out. Pray for those students that are in the wings waiting to start our program, and the ones that are deciding. I pray that you just make them choose it. Father, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity for such a time as this. Thank you, Father, for just what you've done for us in your mercy and grace, and help us be the best we can be. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, the little agenda I've given you tonight, it seems like a lot, but I'm going to fly right through it. Basically, the agenda is saying, I did a little short devotion, introductions, a little bit about myself. I've been here at Mid-America for about 15 years. I used to teach at Ruskin High School over on Missouri. I used to teach at Grandview High School over on that side. I taught science, biology, general science, things like that, coached, and had an opportunity to come back here at Mid-America in 1998, and I lived in the dorm. It was awesome. I lived in the dorm with my wife and one child at the time, and it was probably the best job I ever had. I'd stay up late, I'd get up late, you know. So we actually ended up having another child while we were living in the dorm. We realized that we can't do this anymore. So I coached here, and then I started teaching an adult education program that you've heard about. It's an adult degree completion program. I started teaching in that, and then went back and started working on my doctorate. It only took me about 9 years. So finished my doctorate, as you guys all know. So finished my doctorate, got done with that, but I finished that while I was teaching here. I moved over to here in the teacher ed program during that time. So I've got 3 kids. I've got 2 at Olathe South now. It's interesting. One's a junior. One's going to be a freshman at Olathe South. And I've got a little girl that is in 4th grade at Havencroft Elementary just down the street. She's my princess. So I've got a little gambit of childhood experience in my household. But I've been married 21 years in July. I said July. Well, my wife is not going to see it. It's August 1st is 21 years. My son's birthday is in July. So, yeah, I'm an idiot. So that's a little about myself. Like I said, I used to teach science. I love science. I'm kind of a nerd in that sense. But I chose special education as I got here at Mid-America because when I taught at Ruskin and Grandview, I had class within a class. You guys remember that old model? They may still use it over there. You guys may still use it. I don't know. But we had that, and I thought, man, I love these kids that come in, and they came in with a special ed teacher, and I'd have 5 or 6 kids in class in science, and they work with the special ed teacher, the pair at the same time. So that's what kind of piqued my interest in special ed. My background in special ed is in mental retardation. So you're thinking, okay, mental retardation, adaptive special ed, it doesn't go hand in hand. However, that's why I've got you guys. You guys are the adaptive experts. So I'm going to learn the functional side. However, I can do the intro class, things like that. And I think I'm doing one of the practicums, things like that. I teach here the exceptional learner class for the undergrads. And then I'll be teaching, as you see the list, I've got 3 classes that are going to be part of my load that I have to teach. So anyway, so that's a little about me. Debbie Byrne. I'm going to try to go through and tell you everybody's name. All right. Debbie is our transition specialist that we have on our group here. Most of you guys know her. She's from Olathe. Gretchen Shirk, she's our jack of all trades person. She's going into school counseling now, or counseling, excuse me. Yes. She's in counseling. She's retiring sometime this summer, right? Yeah.
In a few days.
In a few days.
July 1st.
She's actually back in school.
And
she's working on her counseling degree. And Dr. Judy Martin, Dr. Judy Martin, she is from Gardner Edgerton. These 2 are from Olathe. She is Assistant Superintendent, no, Director of Special Services.
yeah, but
I like those, yeah. I've been trying to, yeah. She's Director of Special Services in Gardner Edgerton School District. I think I said that before. And as you can see, she's going to be teaching a couple of classes, especially at the law. I was looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, I remember that. You all remember the special ed law class you took, how much I hated that class. Anyway, I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not teaching that class. So anyway, yeah. Dr. Erin Dugan, she is an assistant superintendent here in Olathe. She does a lot of stuff. And the last time I had contact with her was for the bond issue here. But she is going to be teaching a number of classes. I think you're doing a couple back-to-back classes, I think. Conflict and negotiation, and then communication collaboration. Very good. Dr. Sue Jacobs back here in the back. You may know her, you may not. She is in Oregon Trail Middle School. She's our language arts expert. And that's, how hard it is to find somebody with language arts and special ed to come to a small university. And anyway, so I hooked her in. We were going to use her, and this is a beautiful thing. So. And her background, we were just talking her background, she has a background in juvenile
offenders.
Yeah, juvenile offenders. That's what I was going to say, juvenile delinquents, but yeah. So she is right on the functional side of working with students with learning disabilities and so on. Yeah, absolutely. So
depends on the day.
Yes, absolutely. There are a couple people that aren't here. The other one is Anna Stubblefield, Dr. Stubblefield. You may know her. She's in Lawrence, and I think she is a administrator in Lawrence. I can't remember. She used to be principal, and now I think she's at the head shed. So she's going to be teaching a couple for us. And then Nicole Hodge is up in North Kansas City. We have a Liberty site. Have you heard about that site? There's a site up in Liberty. She's the site director in Liberty, and she kind of takes care of the place. But her background, she has an EDS in special ed. I think she taught in North Kansas City for a while in special ed. So she's going to be doing, I think, the inquiry database, data collection, and so on. So I think I got everything right with everybody. Good? Okay. So got the introductions. The other person sitting here with us is probably one of the most important people that you'll find is Janelle Hoffauer. Very important. She is our outcomes assessment coordinator. Director, what do we call you?
A licensure and assessment coordinator.
There we go, licensure and assessment coordinator. So everybody that goes through our program will deal with her to get their license. So they will make sure, we'll make sure that they go through her, apply, all those different things. She will also talk to us tonight about task stream, which we'll get to that in a second, about assessment, and then I'll talk a little more about that in a second. So the purpose and scope of this program, as you all know, we're trying to provide a degree for students to get licensed in a number of different areas in adaptive special ed. And I think I've told a few before, I'm pushing everybody to do K-12. So I had somebody come to me, I want to do elementary. Why don't you just take one more class and do K-12? So I've been pushing everybody to do that. So that's my ultimate goal. But basically, number one, I want to be able to provide the best product we can get here in Kansas City. Have you taught for Baker or for St. Mary's in that consortium? So I think they have their own degrees now. I want ours to be better than theirs. And I don't want you to teach for them anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I want ours to be better than theirs. So if you have any insight on if you taught for them, kind of how can we do things better than them? So it's like we're going to play dirty there. So another thing, we're going to train teachers to meet the needs of all students, and then including students with adaptive special education. I think that's one of the big focuses. I'll just use that word. Within any special ed program, when we talk about meeting the needs of students, it's for everybody, not just for students with special needs, but especially for students with special needs in the adaptive area. We're going to train teachers to model Christ-like dispositions in and out of the classroom, and that's just, that's part of who we are, and I'll talk about the faith integration in a second. The scope is we're going to prepare the candidates to pass the praxis. That's the main thing. Get through the program, pass the praxis. They get through the praxis, they can get their license. My goal is to have 100% pass the praxis each time. Now, I model that kind of after our nursing program. Our nursing program, they have a accelerated program. They have a master's in science and nursing. I think accelerated nursing program, they have like a 99% pass rate for the NCLEX. And that's not easy to take, right? So our goal is to have a 99+% pass rate of the praxis too, to get them their license. We also want to prepare non-licensed teachers. So you could potentially have teachers in your classroom that don't have a public school experience. You're going to have teachers that may be from private school experience that aren't required to have a license. So, but they can still earn the master's degree. We checked with the state of Kansas, said it's cool. But they can take the master's degree. They just will know that won't lead to licensure if they don't have that initial Kansas license of elementary or secondary. But you possibly could have somebody in class like that. Now, you could possibly have somebody in class that may not even have a teaching background. I was still trying to figure out if we should do that or not. We don't know. If it means a make or break of the program, maybe, we started off with, we'll start you on. But I think our goal is to get everybody at least to have some teaching experience or have an opportunity to have practicum in a classroom somewhere. Okay. Integration of faith and learning. And you've all talked about this before. So some of you have taught at Mid-America before, and we've talked to you with Dr. Dameron about integration of faith and learning. Basically, with a class, we always integrate a devotional or a devotional thought or scripture reading, music, anything to provide a conduit for spiritual formation. If you're not comfortable with it, my suggestion is find a Bible reading to read off on the screen. Some of you, we're not going to force you to be like the preacher. That's not our goal. Our goal is to try to integrate what you are doing in the classroom with what we are teaching. And for example, when I teach my exceptional learner class, and I put that there, where can we find out where ADHD is talked about in the Bible? And then who in the Bible may have had ADHD? And I go through and look, and I found, okay, Peter had ADHD. You guys remember reading about Peter in the Bible? He's always quick to speak and quick to act and never thought about what he was doing. So that would be an example of ADHD in the Bible. I just kind of threw it out there. So I always make a theme of what we're doing that night, of how that is integrated. I spend less than 5 minutes on a devotion. Some people spend a long time, and it's just, I don't want to cut in a lot of class time, so I spend less than 5 minutes on devotion. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Format. As you all know, if you've taught Mid-America before, the classes are 8 weeks long. Format, layout, and logistics. We're going to have a 33 to 36 hour program. If a teacher wants a 33-hour program and only wants to specialize in either secondary or elementary, we'll accommodate them, but I'm still pushing them to do to 36 for K through 12. Some courses are online concurrently with face-to-face classes. So if you look at the schedule I've given you there, please forgive me on this. I'm still working on this schedule. If you look at the schedule on here, it will give you the dates at the very top and what classes are going on. I for sure know, if you look on August 27th, SPED 713 and 723 start. That's for sure. The terminology we have to use is this, though. Classes start the week of August 26th. Does that make sense to you guys? So if you're teaching an online class, it'll start on Monday. If I'm teaching a face-to-face class here on campus, it'll start that Tuesday. That's due to federal guidelines. The feds have come down hard. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Feds are coming down hard on colleges and universities about how they start and when they stop and how it relates to financial aid. Mid-America has had to go back and like six years worth of auditing to figure out, do we owe the feds government because we started time weird or ended weird or whatever. So I know for a fact the very first 2 classes start the week of the 26th, but I know that 7-13, the one I'm teaching face-to-face, starts on the 27th. Okay? All right, the next 2 classes. I'm going to go to the next one. Starts the week of October 14th. This will be wrong up here. I'm still working on these dates. I know for sure that these 2 sets of classes, where they go. Okay. Soon I'm going to have this calendar fixed for you, and I'll give it to you and let you know when you're actually going to be teaching class. So, I was working on it today, and by the way, I got down to the end here, and it was wrong. I thought, I don't know, I'm missing a holiday or something like that. So, anyway, we'll start the class. These 2 classes start the week of the 14th. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then SPED 7033 or 7133 and 7043 start on the 15th. Those are face-to-face. I think that's correct. Yes. Now, it says 7033 or 7133. Those are methods classes. One is K6, one is K12. I mean, one is elementary, one is secondary. But the practicum is pretty much the same. So we particularly have 2 professors here and 2 professors teaching that. So whoever's teaching these 2 classes would be also doing the practicum at that time. I think, Gretchen, I got you doing the elementary one, and then you would do the practicum at the same time. That makes sense? 45-hour practicum. Let me tell you a little bit about that. If, for example, I am a secondary teacher and I want K-12 licensure, I would then take a practicum at the elementary level here. Or vice versa. If I'm elementary and I want secondary, I would take a practicum at the secondary level. Because I've already got the elementary experience, I need the secondary experience. Okay? That makes sense to everybody? It's just flip-flop. So those 2 classes, those 2 classes technically go all the way into December. December 3rd is the last class for that, and the students are off after that for Christmas. I think I'm right for the next section, I think. The next class, 7053, 7063, starts the week of January 6th. So 7053 would start on the 6th, the reading language arts one. And then the 7063 starts on the 7th and works every week. So that would be you, Judy. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand the week of? So if it's online, starts the week of. Even if somebody asks you, Judy, hey, when's your class start? Well, it starts the week of January 6th, right? But we have class on January 7th. So this is I guess a good thing it does for us is what happens if you are throwing up that day and cannot have class, which has happened. Well, then you say to your students, we're not having class tonight, but you're online. We're online on the 9th. So that week of, we're having class still, right? So that's face-to-face or online, however you want to do it. If it's online, it really doesn't make a difference. But if you're sick, you can say, well, we're doing online on the 9th. We'll just make up for that. So then we never cancel class. So that's one thing Dr. Dan wanted to let you know. We just never cancel class. If you are sick, we'll just do it online. Okay?
Does that go with snow days as well?
Absolutely. It's one of those things, I think, with the way the feds are telling us and how we're trying to work this thing out and get them done. Any snow days, we'll put them online. So whatever you were going to do in the lecture, you'd probably have to take a little work and put it all online doing something. So. Good?
So do we,
Yes.
I'm sorry, out of this. But
No, it's okay.
So, do we have the option of being online or direct instruction or?
Good question. No, the way I've set it up, there's only 4 online classes, and the rest of them are face-to-face.
Okay.
One of the reasons, I'm glad you asked that, one of the reasons we did that is there's a lot of people in our other programs are saying, I wish I were face-to-face. I'm tired of being online. So we're kind of making this one a
Yes,
hybrid one. Yeah. Let me throw this little wrench in for you too. Let's say you have somebody that's in Wichita that wants to take this class or wants to take this program. Sure, we're going to let them. What it means is we're going to have a computer sitting in front of you and videotaping, but it's not video, it's going to Skype it real time. Okay? So you're going to be doing it real time, lecturing in Wichita in real time. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's our ultimate goal, is to have that just like they're sitting in class. So we've been advertising, and anybody 45 miles away or farther from Mid-America, they could take this program via Skype or Adobe Connect. It'll probably be Adobe Connect. Okay? And let me throw that another thing in for you. If you're teaching online, we expect you then to use Adobe Connect, just like we talked a while ago. So, you don't have to use it all the time, but if you could use it once or twice during the class, or if you're teaching online, just get together as a group and talk, and it's fairly simple. Once you get if I can use it, you guys are going to be great. Mike Ramirez will set you up with an account. You just give them a link and they log in and they're ready to go, and you got all your people online, which is kind of nice. So, okay, so I'm going to actually stop right there with classes, because I swear I'm going to get into it and it's going to be wrong. So, but I think up to this point here, with that class, this second set of classes that start January 6th, end March 25th. So you're out of luck if you know. I'm just kidding. I'll find the other dates for you. I will let you know when those other dates come around. Okay? That good?
They off spring break and all that?
No. It's a good question. I think the way we looked at it, maybe you were in that conversation too. We weren't going to let them off spring break because it's just another
Really? I mean, it just makes
one more week for the add-on. So I think we make them go through. Especially, I think they model out the online programs. The online programs I don't think are off spring break. So we will have to make them come to class on spring break, at least the one face-to-face class. So, which is going to stink for you guys if you're on spring. You guys get spring break as administrators? I don't know. See, I knew it. You have to go to class, go to work. So. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Gretchen doesn't care anymore. So yeah. So, okay. And we talked about courses going to be held concurrently, either face-to-face or online, at least 4 times. Okay. The classes, if they're face-to-face, they're going to be in our library over in the Turk. It's called the Teacher Education Resource Center, and it's actually kind of cool now. They've got one of these things here. They got a projector. They got a smart board. They got books. It kind of looks like an elementary classroom. And they got a little reading center, and there's books all along the wall. And it's a great place. It'd be fun to teach in. But that's where our classes are going to be held face to face. Okay. I've given you the calendar itself. You can look at that whenever you want, and you could probably figure out the dates faster than I can. One more thing I need to, before I forget, there's 2 things actually. One, you guys all know students at times have issues finishing in class, and if they are getting incomplete or in progress, you probably sometimes have assigned those dumb grades. I hate to know. Anyway, the students need to know that if they have an in progress or incomplete, they can't apply for financial aid until that's done. So it can affect them. So that's just something in the back of your mind. You'll probably have to be reminded of it again, because I'm going to have to be reminded of it again. Another thing that we are doing, or using a program called DropGuard, and federal government is saying to us, we have to keep track of students in class. Gone are the days where you say, well, it's their money. The federal government wants us to keep track of them being in class. So if somebody's gone from your class, all you do is do a few clicks. You click them in absent on DropGuard, this program, and it keeps a record of it. And the interesting thing is, if you put them in like 3 times, it'll automatically send them an email and send the department chair an email, and it'll let people know that they're missing class.
Is that including if they don't turn in assignments like you're supposed to?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, if they are at risk. So if they miss 3 assignments, you put that in. They missed 3 assignments, and the emails go out. I'm not going to expect you to remember how to log in because I have to look and remember how to log in every time. So I will let you know.
And then the
This
same
is
email
fun.
goes to the department chair.
That's correct, and the dean, I believe. So DropGuard, we use it, and it's actually a pretty cool program. It's pretty easy to use. That. Okay. I'm gonna let you talk, and then I'll talk about e-learning stuff.
Okay.
Cool. All right. She is our licensure person, and pull out this sheet here that you have this kind of matrix. This is the thing she's going to talk about. And you'll see here in a second, you have this, and on the agenda at the very bottom it says assessments. Yeah, we're going to have to do two different things. Anyway, some of them overlap, but I'm going to turn it over to Janelle. Okay.
One of the programs that we use to track assessments is TaskStream. How many of you have used TaskStream in the past? I know Baker uses it sometimes, so okay, so one. TaskStream basically collects all of the assessments that are used in our programs, and also is used for surveys. So we send out students course surveys and end of program surveys for all of our programs, undergrad and graduate. So at the end of every course period, you're going to have a survey sent out, and then you'll get the results of that after, like probably a week or two after the class, that I will send to you. So those are launched by me, and I will let you know when that happens. But as far as the TaskStream assessments go, each of you are going to create an account, and probably in August. When's the next adjunct meeting?
I don't know. But we will help you create an account.
Yeah.
We'll give you the login stuff. It's like a repository. So all the assessment we do, we can load it up here, and it collects all the data, and she can run all the reports and stuff on
So on your home page, you have programs listed. Now, if you're only teaching the ASPED courses, then you'll only see this particular program. You won't see these others. And you'll only be an evaluator, unless you want to see what your students see when they log into TaskStream. I'm going to show you both right now. But if you're interested in seeing what they see, let me know, and I will add you in as an observer of the class. So here is what both you and the student will see. So right now I've chosen to be an author. So when a student clicks on the class, they'll see all of the courses and all of the key assessments that we require. We collect these key assessments for accreditation. They'll be used for HLC accreditation, NCATE, and KSDE. These allow us to create reports and download the data we need for those different accreditation processes. So if I click on any of these, little process, it gives directions. Right now I'm just telling them how to upload it by clicking the attachment button at the bottom. But if you have specific directions for these key assessments that are listed on this matrix, let me know and I will put them in here. A lot of times you'll have them already in Moodle, but if you need them in TaskStream just for additional reference when they are uploading, let me know and I'll add those. So a student basically can, from this point, upload work, see the evaluation rubric that's going to be used, and also see the scores that are going to be done whenever you evaluate them. So for this one, students just upload an attachment. I'm going to browse for a file, just whatever file I happen to find. They can name it. And like I know a lot of these courses have parameters for what they're supposed to name the file.
Yeah, that'll be something probably you'll say to them, hey, name it this when you upload it to TaskStream.
I'm just gonna do that.
Now notice, it's not every assessment they're uploading. Like you may have like 6 or 7 assessments in your class. If it says on that sheet right there, like rubric or whatever, it'll tell you what, that's the only thing you're uploading to the TaskStream.
So I'm going to add the file. It's going to load. And you can load as many documents. The student can load several documents. So if they have an action research project and they need to load several documents with it, they can upload as many as they need. They hit save and return. And at this point, they think they're done. Grad students and undergrad students alike.
Yes.
And what happens is, as the evaluator, you will see an hourglass at this point if they do not hit this button. See, it says, don't forget to submit. If they don't click that, it's an hourglass and you can't evaluate it. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit so that it is officially done. And here, if the student thinks they missed something, forgot to include a paragraph, whatever, they can cancel submission here. But most likely they're not going to want to do that. So as an evaluator, you will click on the same program, and then you get to select your cohort. They're going to be grouped by cohort. That way, it's easier for us to track data, and it's easier for you to identify students. If you have multiple cohorts in a class, you don't have to actually do those individually. So I'm going to start with SPED 01.
Would that happen? Would there be multiple cohorts in a class?
You may have multiple people from different cohorts, like
Yeah.
if they dropped a class and then pick it up with another group.
Okay, so it's something like
Yeah.
that.
But the way it's worked out, they'd have to wait sometimes a year before it came back around again, or a semester.
So first of all, I select SPED 01, then I found the course that I am evaluating. And you will not see this list like I do. You will only see the courses that you're teaching. You click continue. And so this is me in the system. And so you'll see that these are the two key assessments. This is the one that I submitted. And you'll see a list of students and hopefully see all of these buttons. Hopefully. When they click evaluate, you can open the attachment they sent. And if you have two screens, you can have it open on one and the rubric and task stream open on another. Now, if you are doing an action research paper that you're evaluating or an IEP worksheet and you like to put comments in either a PDF or a Word document, you can do that. Put in the comments in this and you can upload it to the rubric. So I'm going to close that for now and click Evaluate Score Work. So here it opens two windows. When I click on this, it will have Word in one window and this in the other. I'm going to open this full. So here are the criteria and then the rubric ratings. And then you just select a score. And if you have comments you want to enter, you enter the comments. And for the most part, I think the standards are loaded. I'm still working on that portion, but you'll see the standards there as well. When you have all of those scores entered, you'll see the option to do Save Draft. If you're working, like the Action Research rubric and the Observation rubrics are very long, so just hit Save Draft occasionally. You don't need to hit it after every time you enter a score. That's one thing to note. So you can put in overall comments, and here's the place where you can attach files. So if you put in all those comments in the student's document, you can save it to a folder on your desktop, and then browse and upload it. That way the student can see your comments in the work. That also makes it where you don't need to enter the comments as often in the rubric, if that makes sense. If you need to, you can send it back for revision. They get an email saying they need to rework the document, re-upload it, and then you'll get an email notifying you that it's been uploaded. And you can go back into it and reevaluate it. Always, when you're done and it's finished, hit record as final and release it. And then you hit submit. Which I'm not going to do now, because I don't want it to stay in there. Any questions about that?
There'll be a number of questions. I'm
Right.
sure.
I'm going to give you a document, a PDF document that will provide you all the instructions on what I just did. It's a quick overview and it's very easy when you follow the guide that TaskStream provides. I also want to point out They have great online documentation. They have this link that you can click on, and it has a variety of either FAQs or downloadable guides. I'll be providing you the quick start guide for evaluators. But so there's a lot of documentation there you can use.
I have a
But-
question on the rubrics.
Yeah.
So has the university already developed the rubrics, or are we responsible for developing the rubrics?
They're already done, except for a
Okay.
couple.
Okay,
I had to go through and make some.
right.
There's a couple that I still need to do that I may have you do if it's the class. I can't remember which class it was, but it's a couple that I need done. But most of them are done already.
Okay.
You can tweak them as you go. If you realize this needs to be a little bit. The main thing is we cannot change 20% or more of our assessment. If we do, we have to go to KSD and say, hey, we're changing this. So the main thing is we just try to keep everything we have to turn out.
So the rubrics will already be in, except for those ones that.
Yeah, and they'll, by that time, I think they'll be
So
up
they'll
on.
already be uploaded in there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They should. You should have a lot of these rubrics also in your syllabi.
I was gonna say, I thought I'd seen.
Yeah, some of the syllabi have them in them already.
I will note that if you are using Moodle, which I think everyone will be doing that, you can have the student upload to both Moodle and TaskStream for these key assessments. But one thing that I'm stressing with our undergrad professors is tell them that you will not receive a score unless they upload it to TaskStream. Because we're finding that a lot of students kind of take this for granted because they uploaded it to Moodle, and therefore we don't get the data we need, and it's very difficult. So this has to be done for our accreditation purposes. We use it especially for HLC and NCATE. So
And I've taken away for these assessments, taken away the ability for the upload to Moodle. Just saying, I put it on Moodle, you have to do this in TaskStream. So it's just-
That was just my clarification, so do some do it in both? And you have to
Some
explain to
do.
students that we have
Yeah.
a certain assessment of this course has to be uploaded.
Yeah, some do, and I don't know why people would professors want both places, because you can evaluate it on TaskStream, give them the score on TaskStream, and send them back the rubric and everything on TaskStream. So you wouldn't have to do it on Moodle for these. You wouldn't have to do that. Thanks, Janelle, for doing that. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to tell you, invariably, Erin's going to email me and say, "Well, okay, what's my name?" No, I'm going to say, she's going to email me. How do I do this? I'll come to your office. Seriously, I will come to your office, and I'll help you work through it. So, Debbie, you're here on campus, and I'll come to your office. Dr. Stubblefield, I'll come to Lawrence to talk. If you have a question, I'll come help you, and we'll work it out. So, I don't want you to feel like you're stressed about that. Once you start doing it, you realize, oh, this is pretty simple. And it's pretty easy to do once you get going. So, thank you very much. She is our guru. She's definitely our guru of data, and that's what we need. So, and the course that we're trying to stay accredited. That's the main thing. If you look again now on your agenda, at the very bottom there, okay, what do these assessments have to do with anything? Okay, these assessments that say key assessments here, Janelle just talked, but the state of Kansas, when we got approved by the state of Kansas to offer this program, they said there are 8 key assessments we need data on. Some of these key assessments are on TaskStream. That some of these are on that matrix you have, some are not. So we are going to, if it's not on TaskStream, if these aren't collected on TaskStream, you'll just collect data within your class. So and so score, or the class scored this amount, and I'll come ask for data later on when it comes around to that time. Does that make sense? Some are the same, some are not. And it also tells you what class those things are collected in. Okay? And as you know, if you start looking at numbers, not all classes are represented there.
Right.
So this is what the state of Kansas said, so I'm just okay, we're going to go with that. Okay. Let's see here. So those are the assessments you will have key assessment for each class that you're doing. The ones that we really care about, not the quiz that you're giving. Of course, you want to do that, but are the ones for KSDE and the ones are for TaskStream. Those are the main things we're collecting data on. Okay, those are your teaching online classes. If you've not taught online for us before, you will probably end up going through a training session with Dr. Dunlap. I don't know if you've met Martin Dunlap or not. He is our Director of Graduate Studies. He will he or Mike Ramirez will go through and help you set up your online class. They will give you tips and instruction. There's also a lot of stuff on Moodle that you can look and watch videos about setting it up. But on our e-learning, you'll be responsible for what we will be doing, as opposed to, okay, here, read these things and do that, and I'm not going to look at it for 3 weeks. There's a number of things that we ask you to do. Activities, either group activities, individual activities. Definitely use forums a lot. Written activities they can upload. Utilizing Adobe Connect at least twice throughout the class if you're teaching online. We're basically, the whole set and get model back in the old day when they started doing online. Here's the online class. I'm not going to see you again until you're done. This is the whole paradigm has shifted. And the way the feds are even looking at us are saying if you are teaching online, you have a number of different things you have to be doing. Because if they're not doing seat time, they're going to be doing these activities. So let's say I'm teaching an undergraduate class online right now. I have them watch a video, read an article, do a form. And that pretty much do that all the time. Or then if they're not doing a form, I email all and they have to respond to me. Or they do a written activity. So then they write up a paper and then they upload it to Moodle. And then they have to read each other's papers and respond to each other's papers. So there's a number of different things they're doing. Now I'm speaking to the choir here. I was told to tell you guys this. So anyway, that's our e-learning guidelines pretty much. Let's see here. Any questions up to this point right now? I know it seems like a lot of stuff. Like I said, task stream, if you're struggling with that, I'll help you with it because the main thing is we just want to make sure you get the data in. You know what you will. Those of you that are going to be teaching practicum, Gretchen, you're gonna love this. Our teachers, the teachers that we partner with, not Olathe, they're always perfect. Teachers we partner with, other school districts, and Lawrence, they're great. Some of those teachers that are cooperating teachers and practicum take forever to get back the observation forms, and the practicum evaluation, things like that. So and I think I'm doing the other practicum. We have to stay on top of those teachers. So when they finish the class, we have to email them like 8 times. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can I bring it by? Hey, do you mind if I fill it out for you? Stuff like that. So, yeah. So.
When you park outside their door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get your binoculars. I'm on the phone with you right now. I can see you. Yeah. So that's the only really thing we have to make sure we follow up with, getting those things done for task stream. So, like I said, I want this to be the best program it can be. Unfortunately, we're going to run into glitches as it goes. I had no input on this program when it was developed. So I got this thick book, and they said, "Hey, by the way, you're the only SPED guy here on campus. Here, why don't you do that?" Like, okay. So as I'm looking through it, I'm trying to remember her name. Diana Durkin, right? She did a good job actually laying it out. But for me to try to figure it out, did you help develop it? So, and what basically it was is from that consortium. Yeah. So she sat down with the consortium stuff and developed for Mid-America. So then I'm trying to kind of wade my way through it. So some of these things will change as we go along, and we'll work it and figure it as we go. For example, the name Inquiry, Data Collection, and Research class. It's action research. But I kind of like that name as opposed to action research. And maybe you guys don't. Maybe you disagree, but some of these things may change as we go on. But once again, we won't change it 20% or more of the program. Well, yeah. So now, got 10 minutes. Sue asked me this: are you for sure starting the program August 27th? Yes. Okay. Well, I said yes because I'm being very optimistic. Like I said, I've got about 18 people I've been talking to. I have a couple people said I'm applying. We're going to get this going. So. I think Dr. Dameron said 5. We can start with 5, and that's our goal.
And that would be cohort 1.
Cohort 1, which is, you think 5 people? That's kind of cool. Teach 5. On the other hand, it's kind of bad because how do you lecture to 5 people? Well, the reason that we're thinking about 5 is that we've got to do it. We've got to start it. If not, we're just out of luck. I think we're going to have a problem getting it back through KSDE we need to make this thing, what do they call it, matriculate? Is that the word? So we've got to get it going. So, yeah, I don't think I used that right word. You know how intimidating this is right now? Doing it in front of all you people?
But you're not talking science stuff.
No, I'm not. I mean, if you're talking about black hole or biology, I'm good. But
So are all the classes on the direct instruction classes on the same day, regardless of which of the sessions? I mean, are they all Tuesdays or?
that's correct, all
Okay.
Tuesdays.
Okay.
Now, you may have already seen a problem we may have, like when for the elementary methods and the secondary methods. What if we have 2 classes going? Where are we going to put these people? So now I got to figure out when that comes on. Luckily, I got a little bit of time. So now, like I said, I'm pushing everybody. In utopian world right now, I would have all secondary people that have signed up, and then we only have that one elementary class, right? So, but we'll figure out where to put the other class and have that going. So, at one point, I thought about having just one professor. So you teach elementary and secondary in the same class. But I think this,
Differentiate.
yeah, I think the state wanted us to not do that. I think is what it said. So, anyway, you guys have any other questions? I mean, how confusing was this meeting? Really,
It was
seriously,
great. Fun.
yeah. Well, the main thing is I want us all to get together. This is the first time we actually hung out together. I think I've talked to y'all before. It's been a long time since I've seen you, though. So I met at your place.
At your blessing.
Over at your place over in Garden.
Blessing.
I have her blessing.
She blesses all of us.
You will find. I'm not an administrator. You guys are administrators, and you probably think he's an idiot. I'm just a person that's like kind of coordinating this stuff. So I'm doing my best. I'm learning from the masters here. But that's why I said you guys are rock stars. You know what the heck you're doing, and that's what we need. So we want to, like I said, make this the best program it can be. So
I have a question.
yes.
Are we supposed to, for the online, it's the first time that, some of us have taught an online class,
Mhm.
do we need to contact you? Or I remember seeing that in some information you had shared previously. Or do we need to contact the America tech guy to take us through some stuff?
Good question. Yes, Mike Ramirez will be his name.
Okay.
He will sit down with
So we
you.
contact him, you contact us.
Right. You will contact him. If you email me, I can give him your information. He can
I
contact
don't have
me.
his
Okay,
information,
okay.
I just wanted to.
He will set up a shell for all of you in Moodle. We have a new Moodle, which is kind of. But he'd set it up, and you can start working on that as you go. And I think Dr. Sobofield has been working on. Have you been working on it?
Yeah, I met with Mike last week.
Okay.
I haven't been working on it.
Yeah.
I met with Mike.
And he gives you a shell you can work on it. So you have some time. The beautiful thing is we all have some time, except for us that are teaching the first 4 classes or so. But the other thing is, before I forget, as you all know, you can get a provisional SPED degree. Those first 4 classes allows them to get a provisional SPED. Technically, the social and behavioral needs one is not included, but I say the first 4 because they have to have they have to have the intro, they have to have the methods, and they have to have a practicum. They can get their provisional SPED degree, and then they can then start working in SPED somewhere. Hopefully, you guys will hire them doing stuff. So anyway, they'll work in SPED, and they finish their degree and get your full license at the very end. So the only thing that may mess them up is this: if they take intro and for some reason they had a baby in the next class, and then they couldn't get their provisional. So, but our goal is to accommodate these students as they go through. As you know, adults, things happen. So.
Do you have an idea when then you'll decide, yes, we're definitely, I know you're very optimistic and we are too, that it will go, but do you have a date in mind, like?
My thinking is the week before
The first class.
Before the first class. I'd like to know, I think I told Sue, I'd like to know the middle of July that we have enough.
Sure.
But I think the week before, we would let you know that we're not going to be able to go. I sure hope it's not like that. Because you guys have worked a lot too, looking at syllabi and doing stuff. I don't want to waste your time in that sense too.
Just so we have some idea.
Sure. Yeah. If you need textbooks, I think I talked to Dr. Jacobs already. You need textbooks, desktop copies, and stuff like that. Email me, and I will get those for you. Get those sent to you for your classes and so on. And you have autonomy with your class too, by the way. Other than the assessments, just do whatever the heck you want. Feel professionally you want to do, right? So some of the stuff you may look and say, "Hey, Diana, I'd like to do this, but I want to do this." So you can change your class to however it fits as long as the assessments stay the same.
And what are the hours of the evening?
Good question. 5 to 9. So we're trying to get the adult ed programs go 6 to 10, and I hate that so much. So 5 to 9, 1 night a week. We're trying to sell it to the teachers are. Their time's precious. So
So if there are 2 classes, then they're 5 to 7, 5 to 6:45, and 7 to something. Or?
no, if it's 2 classes going at the same time, the face-to-face goes 5 to 9. The online one's on whenever.
Well, no, but I'm thinking about maybe I'm not reading the calendar right. Practicum and methods are the same.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the practicum, for example, you can meet practicum in your class
Okay.
that you're doing.
Okay. Because
And-
they'll be the same people.
Exact same people, same, and you'll be having the same ones in class. You can use that time for some of that time for practicum
Okay,
during that
gotcha.
time.
So it's a nested.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
The only one that changes would be like the second practicum. They'll
It's
be
by itself.
questions. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
agreeing to
Very
help us.
nice.
Thank you. I hope it answers some of your questions. So if you need me,
Further
always.
questions, then we can email
Oh,
you.
absolutely. Call me, email me. If you need me to come help you at your office, seriously set your Moodle up, I will come. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. See, right there, 55 minutes and we're done. Good thing, so.